To the lesson 9 video, and this video we're going to be working with margins, padding, alignment, and floating. So we're going to definitely be talking about adding margins to elements, padding to elements, how to align everything, how to properly use the float property. So let's start with using margins. So if we go to our example website, we'll click on the margins link here. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different margins. Here you see the default margin. And again, I just want to show you here. Let's go over here to margins. So this one, we just show the default margin. That just shows you the margin with no changes in it. The second one shows the top margin. And what we do here and we go up to top margin, that's this one over here. You can see that what we did is we're putting a 50 pixel margin above the element that we put the margin on. So let me just go over the definition. So style sheet margins enable you to add empty space around the outside of the rectangular area of the element on a web page. The margin property works with space outside the element. So what you see happening here is in this one, the paragraph is outlined. I outlined it by this border, this black border here. And then the margin, that 50x margin between this and the header that I put for top margin, this is that 50 pixels that it put on there. And for the bottom margins, it's basically the same, except I put the margin underneath the paragraph and not above it. So you can see the difference there. And also if you go back here, you can see the bottom. I just say margin dash bottom, and that puts a 50 pixel margin underneath the element, which is what happened there. I just put this border here around the, because I applied the margin on the paragraph just to show what the bounds of the paragraph looks like. And here's some different margin examples that you have here. You can do top right, bottom left, and then you can just say margin and then pick the different pixels, the margin pixels. Or if you say margin and just add one value, it'll set all the values to the same value. Okay, so there's a shorthand, so one value, it sizes all the margins. Two values does top bottom, then left right. Three values, top margin, the left right, and the bottom margin. And then the four values are all four. And top, right, bottom, and left in that order. Okay, so that's margins. We did default margin. This one we did all margin. Let's see what we did there. Oh yeah, this is just the same as this just puts a margin around everything. So that 50 pixels around everything. Okay, so let's go ahead padding. So where margin is on the outside of the element, it adds spacing. Padding adds a spacing inside of the element. So the paragraph element, again, is surrounded in black. So now the spacing is inside of the paragraph element. So here we did the same thing as we did with the margins, except we added padding, 50 pixel say 50 pixels. So if we go to padding, padding here, yeah, I did the same thing. It's 50 pixels, but now it's doing it inside of the element, not outside of it. So that's really the only difference here. And then the all padding just shows you that it puts that entire padding around everything here. Again, padding properties, top right, bottom left, and then different examples. Again, same rules apply as you saw with the margin. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to discuss is how to align everything. So let's go to the alignment. And there's different alignments that you can have. So let's go ahead and do this. So there's a default alignment. And as you can see by the default, here it just aligns it to the top. And the way it's aligned, as you can see here, what I've done is I've put a paragraph tag inside of these div tags. And what we've done with the div tags is those are this section div tag over here. And what it does is we've set the height to a certain amount. So here we set the height to 100 pixels. And then we put a border around it. And so the reason we have this border is just to show you how big the div is and where the paragraph aligns based on the div. So the default is just to kind of line it toward the top and on the left-hand side there. Center alignment, basically what it does, it will center your text on the paragraph, which is what's happening here. Let me see what it's doing in the CSS. So this is the center, and we just use the text align rule and then give it center. That aligns it for you. Yeah, float left and float right. Again, this is taking the I just gotta get rid of these to clear that out. We have these float left and float right classes. If you see what they're actually doing, they just set float left, float right. And that's what these are doing, float left, float right. You also have a center div over here. So if you look over here, it's just because 100 pixels and the margin is about as small as it could get, 0 and auto. So if you look over here, that combination centers this margin here. Okay, and the last thing we had was doing a vertical alignment, and as I stated in the previous video, vertical align basically aligns images. So here we're aligning the cat image, and we're saying we want to align it to the middle. So as you look at here, it's aligned to the text in the middle like this. Okay, a couple things. There is a center element, but it's deprecated and may not be supported in the future, so basically it's telling you not to use it. So the easiest way to center is to set the margins to auto. So you can set a left margin or a right margin to auto, but you can also use the shorthand 0 auto down here. And then the float property, this should be important. Is an important tool to understand the popular types of CSS layout design. It basically allows elements to be moved around in the design so that other elements can wrap around there. So it's basically designed so, like especially text, almost like a newspaper, we have an image and then the text wraps around the image. It's kind of to give it that effect. And I think that's all we have. Let me just show this last alignment down here. You can see this is using a middle alignment, I believe. Yeah. So this is middle, and we also made this image middle. So what happens is the image itself is aligned, middle aligned with the text field. Okay, and I think that's it for lesson 9. Thank you for joining me, and we will meet again in a later video.